other man.
So continuing with Ramjoo's diary, um, I'll
Where?
overlap a little bit from last week. At this, the newly created Aga Baidul said that at times his pen cannot keep pace with his thoughts when he once gets in the poetic mood, and hence somebody may be ordered to do the writing work for him. To the great amusement of all, Baba appointed Doctor as secretary to Aga Baidul. I can't imagine that Dr. Ghani was much amused by that. Must have ticked him off royally. And ordered Dr. Ghani to write Aga Baidul's thoughts for him, whatever the latter gets in such a mood. Thus, Baba gave us a practical demonstration that in spite of his spiritual workings and the management of the Mandali's internal and external affairs, he retained a great and keen sense of humor.
Can I just ask now, is Aga Baidul the same as Rustam? Is that the same name or same?
Yes,
Yeah.
Baidul is the name that Baba chose. You know, Baba was giving pen name to most Mandalis. So
Okay.
for Rustam Jafarabadi, which it said here, Baba said, from now on, call him Aga Baidul.
Oh, Baidul.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's not the same as Rustam.
No, not at all. I don't know why Baba said such thing. Who knows?
Okay.
In the evening, Baba and a few others went to Abdur Rahman Baba's tomb and thence for a motor spin. July 28, 1922. That's over 100 years ago. Baba to Sakori. In spite of about 50 persons of different religions, ideas, and ages, occupied with various different duties, living under the single roof of the manzil, the atmosphere is one of great harmony. The management and duties are carried on with almost a mechanical precision, smoothness, and silence. The chief indoor work going on is that of compiling and writing Maharaj's life, which is carried on by Kak and Asar, who, save for the dinner and sports hours, are always closeted in their room without letting even their neighbor be the wiser of what the pair is doing. Only a very few besides Baba know that any writing work is at all going on. It is probably in connection with the biography that Kak has gone with Baba and Trumbuk to Sakori today by the Nagpur mail. July 31, 1922, Baba's return. Baba, who has returned from Sakori today, is talking of sending us all there again for Maharaj's blessing. On his arrival, Baba had a look round all the rooms and departments and made searching inquiries if any of his orders or instructions were violated in his absence by anybody from the company. Consequently, many were taken to task for minor errors committed through oversight and otherwise. August 6, 1922, Mandali to Sakori. As per previous arrangements, all of the Mandali, under Gustaji's leadership, left Bombay for Sakori by the Delhi Express last night and reached Manmad in the early hours of this morning. I love that they are naming the trains with what they are, the Delhi Express. Under the plea of the dawned train not being ready, the ticket collector on duty refused to let us in on the other platform. Some discussion thereupon took place between him and the Mandali. Finding himself against great odds, he got very much excited and began a display of his English talents to overawe us. But being met with stronger opposition, he blurted out to Rustam, "Don't show your wiseness." At this, a great titter went round in the Mandalay, and it spurred us to show the wiseness when somehow the whole lot of us squeezed in, leaving the poor ticket collector resigned to his fate. About 11:30, we reached Sakori and joined in the noon arti in Maharaja's temple. After the meals, we repaired to Maharaja's hut and paid our respects to him. Maharaj gave us a long and very interesting lecture on real happiness, and in the end, advised us to stick to Merwan through thick and thin. Mahu, do you mind unmuting and continuing?
No, sure. August 7, 1922, Great Hospitality. In the morning, we all were made to sit near the temple when Maharaj served us with his own hands, fresh and hot loaves and tea for our breakfast. He actually walked to each with the loaves and kept on serving the mandali till we had finished to our contentment. After paying our final respects to Maharaj and Durga Mai, we left Sakori about 5:30 in the evening by bullock carts, reaching Chitali station after sunset. Here, we boarded the Manmad train at 11:30 and were off to Bombay. August 11, 1922, peculiar orders. Today being New Year Day of the Parsis, it is observed as a general holiday for all. The Zoroastrian party went to their fire temple with sandalwood for prayers, while in the evening Muslim musical prayers were held when almost all the neighboring Muslims attended, including the Charney Road party. Since some time, Dr. Adi and myself have received a peculiar order from Baba, which is that whenever free from duties, we three are to sit near him as follows. Adi is to sit on his right side, myself on the left side, and Doctor exactly in front of me. This order is causing us great inconvenience and danger too, as it is to be observed under all circumstances, whether Baba is sitting in the manzil or anywhere out of it, even in a car or train. Of course, in such circumstances, we are at times allowed to sit elsewhere, but it is only when permitted by Baba to do so, and for that particular time and place only. Otherwise, we are strictly enjoined to try to take our respective seats about him under every circumstance. It is dangerous because being always near Baba, we are often asked as to what is going on in our minds. And the iron discipline compels us to disclose it forthwith. Hence, at times, the sitting becomes almost dreadful. While today I had to see stars for the first time in my life, owing to this simple looking order. It happened this way. Some pushed that. As per the order, we three were sitting about Baba upstairs in the hall when Babu Chante, who had come to see Baba from Pune, was also there talking with him. Mr. Gante made some blunder while talking, at which Baba suddenly got excited and immediately caught hold of his neck. In spite of Chante being a very bulky man, nearly 200 pounds, Baba made very light work of his heaviness. In less time than it takes to write this, Baba brought the big victim down the stairs with a great clatter and crashing, and gave him a final push that sent him rolling like a road roller in the back compound. We three also had to run after Baba to sit beside him if instead of coming up again, we were to sit downstairs. After pushing Gante, Baba suddenly turned back only to find me obstructing his way. With a sudden long drive of his lithe arm, I got a ringing slap over my eyes, which actually made me see specks and colors for a few seconds. Just as suddenly as he had become excited, he became normal again without any trace of anger or mental disturbance about his face or voice. And of course, as usual, the injured parties were patted and talked to with many a kind and loving word by Baba. And there was nothing, even a shadow of any unusual incident in the serene atmosphere immediately after the dupa-dupi, means slaps from a tennis ball thrown at one another during a game. August 18, 1922, the spiritual mother. Durgaman came to the manzil from Sakuri today to stay here for a few days. This reminds me of Baba's words in connection with further explanations about the circle, that it always contains two females, one the spiritual mother and the other the spiritual sister of the perfect master, and circle members concerned. And according to Baba, Durgamai is the spiritual mother of Maharaj and Mother Gulmai of Baba. August 20, 1922, singing party. In celebration of Usman's, a boy whom Munshi has brought up as his own son, marriage today. So in celebration of Usman's marriage today, Munshi has arranged a singing party for Baba and Mandali. Accordingly, we have come to Charni Road after taking the excellent vegetable supper, especially prepared by Sayyid Sahib. We all took our seats about Baba in the room where the singing is to take place. The bridge room having paid his respects to Baba, the Kual, means the singer of ghazals, began providing a fine divine entertainment to all till a later hour. August 21st, 1922, Ghastly Godbunder. It is decided to go to Godbunder on a picnic, as it is said to have the finest scenery about Bombay. Dr. Slamson and Vajidfar start as the advance party to make arrangements for Baba and the rest of us after having their meal. Baba and the remaining members follow them in the afternoon. From Dadar, we take a local train and reach Borivli. Vajidfar has already made conveyance arrangements, and we are comfortably whisked away to Godbandar. The scenery is wonderfully fascinating, but the one-time old church building on the hill, the only place of shelter here, is simply weird. Besides being dull, dark, and dilapidated, there are scores of birds' nests in it, and the consequent fluttering noise in every nook and corner of it, together with hundreds of lizards racing on the walls, makes the place an ideal spot for solitary confinement for great sinners. It is a sort of hell amidst the heavenly scenery of the surrounding green hills and shimmering water. Almost all of us wished we had remained in the good old manzil.
Thank you, Mahu. Betty, could you unmute and continue for us?
However, we tried to improve the atmosphere and infuse some liveliness in the dead building by playing cricket in the big hall under Baba's suggestion. And so somehow we passed the evening, and after supper retired for the night and decided to march off from here the first thing in the morning and pass the Sunday elsewhere. Troublesome holiday, August 27, 1922. When we woke up, we did not feel fresh. The atmosphere had, it seems, affected even our slumber. Hence, as soon as we could finish up attending to the necessities, we started from Godbandar on foot for Borivli. From Borivli, we came to Charni Road by railway. After taking some refreshment here, the party, including Baba, came to Mr. Dalby's place. Here again, we had some refreshment and then eventually came back to the Manzil at about 12:30 in the noon. And thus a hide and seek excursion came to an end. Perhaps this is a signal of the tables being gradually turned, that the easygoing affairs and picnics are to revert to a more strenuous and serious life. August 29, 1922. More poetic flights. Again today, Baba asked some of the party to write poetry, rhyming with the following example. Whether or not between envy and justice there is comradeship, the following two guzzles are the result of doctors and Cox's efforts. Where in heaven exists the fragrance that pervades your laying? A small wave of perfume of his supernally scented musk may or may not be brought to me. Mahu, do you know this? Can you say this language? Is it Mahu, are you there?
Yes, yes.
Can you read that?
Yeah, this is Urdu, but I read it, and you can read the English.
I'll let you read the poetry then, okay?
Yeah, that's Urdu. Hai Khan Janat mi jo tere kucheki hava kuch tobu mushko putano uski lai ho na ho. Beautiful.
Why don't you read the English? Why don't you read the English?
Where in heaven exists the fragrance that pervades your lane, a small wave of perfume of his supernally scented musk may or may not be brought to me. And the next is, I buto ham jinone diltum bar vida karchi chuke. Ab hundahi hai jotumse kuch hundai ho na ho. Oh, my beloved. Friend.
Eugene, you're gonna move it up.
Yeah. So the translation is in English, oh my beloved, for those of us who have surrendered our hearts to you, God alone is our refuge, whether or not you show your godliness to us.
More, Eugene? Wow.
And the next one is, Kahil wata haiwo munshi, garche abne abko, parasnar dehli koi tanawai honaho. In translation is, he calls himself a munshi, but someone from Delhi calls himself Asar, whether or not they are helpful. And the next is, Besabab Baiti Nahin Hai Hoke Wo Chinbar Jabin Hai Magar Shamat Kisti Kisiki Aj Ai Honaho. It is not for nothing he has taken upon himself the burden of anxiety of all. For certain there is today someone's calamity, whether or not it comes. And the next one is, wow, this goes on. Anyway, Queen Nahin Pahalist Beta to me, I Sharagridi shot. Hai Margar Kuch Ahuri Dil Samai Hona Ho. Why is it that you are not like your old self, a disciple of cheer and joy? It is true, yet strange things come and come not to my hearing. Hamtere Tarze Bayan Parhe Fida Dilsegani Bani Isase Kaya Bulbul Si Tujme Khush Nawai Ho Naho. With all our heart, we accept the way you give discourses of things. O Bani, whether or not your expressions are like the sweet singing of a nightingale. Tere dar tak dekhiye apni rasai ho na ho, astan ke hamko hasil jabin sai ho na ho. Let me see whether or not I am able to reach your doorstep, and whether or not I am able to lay my head on the threshold of your feet. Nakhune tadbir se Hulti nahin dilki dire Chahodie takuders Ukda Boshi Ho Na Ho. With the nails of effort, the knots of the heart are not rent asunder. Hand over to your destiny their long problems accumulated, whether or not they are solved. تر کوچکی هوا رشک نسیم خوشدل های ستپنی گو و بو ماربو لای هو نه هو. That's it. Oh, there's translation. The wind of happiness blowing in your land is the heavy of the atmosphere existing in heaven. I read it again. The wind of happiness blowing in your land is the envy of the atmosphere existing in heaven, whether or not it brings with it an air of protection. Mitgaya han nampur tere garaz dunya sekya mai tera bandahun muchko kia khushdai ho na ho. I have lost myself in the love of your name, and I do not need the world anymore. I am your slave, whether or not I have godliness. غیر پر افشان نکار راز محبت جان من دلکاو اچاهای دارتاهون سمایی هو نه هو. Oh, my dear, do not reveal the secret of your love to a stranger, because I am afraid he is shallow and will not be able to contain it. سارپ دستان فضیلت زیب تنجب با توهی شیخ که دیلمه خیلا پرپارسایی هو نه هو. On the head is a turban of honor, and on the body is the robe of distinction. Whether or not in the heart of Shaykh is there the quality of purity. بدبهی پانچی نارتون بازمامی آی جوهم غیر بهاردی های دیلم کوچ برایی هو نه هو. You did not at all inquire of me when I attended your assembly. A stranger may have poisoned your mind with bitterness about me, whether or not it did exist. Jisko dekha bahar raha heidam hundai katere josh ba parhai adshenik kibriyai ho na ho. Whoever I saw was getting filled in with the breath of your godhood. As its zenith today, the glory of your divinity is, whether or not it manifests. خاک ذره کوهای خورشید سے چشمک زنی مهر کی صحابت می یه دولت های پایی هو نه هو. The particle of a thought has to face the glory of the sun. I was a particle of earth, and you transformed me. This is the treasure that lies in the friendship of Meher, whether or not I have gained it or deserved. Okay,
Bravo, Mahu. Who knew?
I guess my Urdu is getting better.
Wow.
Towards the end.
A treated.
Some of it are common word with Farsi, by the way. Urdu is a Farsi and Sanskrit, Irani and Sanskrit. So, yeah. Anyway,
So you knew how to print, the pronunciation was
some
so.
of them, yeah. Some,
Did Baba write this? I didn't catch that. Did anybody?
I guess Monsef did, no?
I think
Oh,
all the Mandali contributed.
Very, very beautiful.
Yeah,
Because he's pleading to Baba, he's longing to with for Meher. So I thought it's probably a disciple.
yeah, see, particle of a cock. So
Yeah.
cock wrote that one, right?
ah,
And
wow.
a
Actually,
previous
here
one
it says
had,
particle of hawk. Hawk is dust. So
Ah.
maybe he's using this, metaphor, particle of dust, which is quite common in those kind of poetry.
Uh-huh. But cock is also one of the mandali.
Exactly, yeah. Isn't it
Yeah.
interesting name for someone to have dust?
Yes.
Yeah. I like to have that.
He calls himself a munchie. I don't. Oh,
the
Dr.
potential-
Cock, there it is.
Yeah, that's true.
Ghani and Cock together. Oh my goodness. And this phrase, ho na ho. Do you know what that is, Mahu?
Yeah. Ho na ho means whether it is or not. Whether
Oh,
it depends on the context, whether
Oh.
it exists or not, whether it has become or not, like that. Yeah, it's a rhyme. So he's done it in ghazals with end up with the same rhyme.
right.
Yeah, very pretty.
Well, if
so
you
what's
like,
going
I'll
on now, okay.
you want me to continue or anybody? It doesn't matter.
Let's move on to Marvin since we only have 10 minutes left. And could you unmute Marvin and continue from Baba and Most? Or actually Cricket and versus Gilly
Gilly
Donda.
yeah.
Yeah, is the title. We're not hearing you. Is that because you're not connected with your phone as well?
No, he's not. Oh, no, he can. He unmute.
No, we still can't hear you. No. Well, let's go to Betty then. And Marvin, if you get it going, I don't know how you'd know except by asking us. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? But anyway.
All right.
Yeah, try again, Marvin. You muted. No, it didn't work.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Betty, from September 3rd.
Cricket, yeah, September 3rd, 1922, Cricket versus Gilly Danda. Baba and most of the Mandali have come to Charney Road as Munshi's guests since yesterday, especially to witness Vajif Dar's cricket on the Parsi Gymkhana grounds. We marked his fine play yesterday, while this morning we played a few exciting games of Gilly Danda on the same grounds, in which Vajifdar also participated heartily to the amusement of a few spectators that had gathered. You there now, Mark? You've got an echo. We came back to the headquarters in the evening, September 4th, 1922. Muslim.
Can I just ask, do you recall what the game Gilly Donda is?
No.
Because it made the spectators laugh that Vajifdar, a big cricket star, played Gilly Donda, made a fool of himself.
How are you doing, Marvin?
Yeah, Marvin, you want to test again?
I think I'm on now, right?
You're
Ah,
on.
beautiful.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm curious. I don't know that game either, Gilly Danda, what it is.
I just Googled it. Do you want to hear about it?
Yes,
Sure.
please.
Sure.
Yeah. So it says Gilly Danda, also known as Viti Dandu, kiddie pool, and by other variations, is a sport originating from the Indian subcontinent, played in the rural areas and small towns all over South Asia, as well as Cambodia, Iran, Turkey, South Africa, Italy, Poland, and in other Caribbean islands. The picture that I'm seeing, they're holding the stick, very similar to cricket.
Ah,
Yeah,
hmm.
they're hitting an object with cricket or a ball. It wasn't a ball, but something like that.
I think now that you
It's an
reminded me,
old-time golfing, I think.
I now that you reminded me, I think it's, and maybe I'm wrong, but maybe it's like with two sticks and they hit one stick in the air and you have to use the other stick to hit the stick, something like that. It's,
Yeah, Marvin, you're right there.
Mhm.
It's a small stick, which is perhaps about 3 to 4 inches long and sort of, trimmed at the edges. So when you take the long stick, which is perhaps half a meter, and you would hit this small stick would be on the ground, and since it is sort of trimmed at the edges, you can hit the edge and it tries to fly up in the air, and while in the air you hit it, and the longer you hit, and then you measure with the longer stick how many such sticks measure up to the place where this particular small stick fell, and that's how you score.
Nice explanation. Thank you. Reminds me a little bit like badminton or something. Throw it in the air and hit it. Yeah,
Hey, Bob.
but it's very interesting.
Okay, Marvin, you want to go on?
Okay. Where are we? September 4th? Muslim Festival. The month of Muslim festivals with the assemblies and other usual activities are in full swing. However, it was for the first time that the Muslim members of the Mandali were asked by Baba to participate in the assembly, which is held daily just opposite the bungalow through public subscriptions. The expenses of today's assembly were contributed by Baba on behalf of the party. September 5th, 1922, the biography completed. Kak and Asar have almost finished their duty of writing the life of Maharaj. As Baba is intending to go to Ajmer shortly with a few members from the company, Kak and Asar are sent in advance today to Delhi so that the latter can see his family and also try to get the introduction of the book written by Khwaja Hassan Nizami. Accordingly, the pair of them left for Delhi this evening. September 10th, the pigeon. The last few days were very easygoing. On the 6th, it was Adi's birthday when a special treat was given to the company. On the 7th, we all had been to the cinema and enjoyed the pleasure of filmdom. While today it is the Parsi Festival Day and the Manzil wears a gay atmosphere. In the afternoon, a snow-white pigeon comes to the bungalow from an unknown place. It seems ill and in a very tired condition, and when some tried to catch it, it surrendered without so much as a flutter. It was taken to Baba, who at once took it in his own hands and began tending and nursing the sick bird. Since then, Baba is marked to take a very great interest in reviving the poor thing, which seems to be in a very inactive condition. But when at all it hops about, it looks a thing of singular beauty. Its snow-white feathers, pink eyes, and a fan-like tail, and a peculiarly dignified gait of hopping, endears it to all, while Baba seems to have taken an unusual fancy to the pigeon, inasmuch as he every now and then inquires or personally inspects its condition throughout the evening up to going to bed. September 11th, the messenger. Baba informed us in the morning that the pigeon had died overnight in spite of so much mending and tending. Baba had been to see the bird twice or thrice even in the night. All were asked to have a look at the remains of the bird, who left its mortal coil in a queer position, sitting down on the legs with beak and head bent downwards on the breast, as if it died while making obeisance. Then all were asked if we could make anything out of the bird's sudden appearance and subsequent death. None could account for it. Hence, Baba reminded us of his words spoken some time ago that he will receive a very important message from Babajan very shortly. And continuing, said, "This is the pigeon that has brought the important news from Babajan." The seriousness and the gravity of the message can well be imagined that soon after delivering the heavy burden, it dies. After this explanation, the bird was very carefully buried by Baba with his own hands and with the help of the mandali in the back compound near the well. A small grave was also made over the remains and a green sheet put on with flowers. Later on, Baba wrote the following ghazal on the pigeon. The king of pigeons became the guest of the house of the godman. What a guest, who instantaneously on arrival became the owner of the dust of this place. Where has this traveler come from? His coming here has caused us to undertake a journey. Suddenly his life faded away. It was as if he appeared and disappeared. One day before his departure from his life, he brought a wonderful message. The spirit of sacrifice of his life on the altar of death, in delivering the message, was enthused in him by the beloved. Oh God, behind the curtain, a wonderful game is being played. In the eyes of the ignorant, blind persons, the apparent has assumed the spectacle of reality. By the evening, Baba sent most of the mandali, including myself, to our respective homes, while with the remaining few, he is going to Ajmer tonight.
Thanks, Marvin.
Uh,
Prakash, would you care to read?
no, I mean, I'm listening.
Oh, you're at work.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Well, we'll
Yeah.
stop here. It's 11:30. Perfect timing, and we'll pick this up next week.